learned from this game and game number one from that experience? Because I'm sure they weren't really expecting to be going into this series one down after the draft that they had.
Can I flip the question on you? I feel like I should be the one to ask you this question. Why the hell is this pinned on me?
Because I want to do it, that's why.
What do we feel like they've learned from game one, LBZS? Yes. I feel like you learn to get rid of the leaner. Make sure they can't play the leaner, even if you lost with it.
Easy game. All right. Well, what I've learned is don't go for a drive with Lizard, and don't take fashion tips from Nomad after their little stories about what they did with their past couple of days. But I'm keen for this game too of Dota because it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm in complete agreement with Fluke, though. I think it would have been a fantastic tiny mid game if you look to pair it together with something like, even a Disruptor to a lesser extent. Disruptor, Skywrath. I'm always a fan of the Wyvern, but it really would have only addressed it would have addressed the Pango as well, so it would have been pretty decent for both Void and Pango, but they've gone for the Void Spirit instead. It's really, it can go both ways, this Void Spirit Puck matchup, both for the lane as well as the game.
Yeah, and I'm really not a big fan of it overall for the game. I think there's a lot of great answers for the Void Spirit. Something you always look at when you're playing a Spirit hero is if you're up against a team that has instant control, and they have that with so many heroes. You've got the telekinesis from Helios, you've got the Sinister's Gaze, which is instant as well, something that a lot of people aren't aware of. We don't see the Lich often, of course, and you just mentioned about the Puck and the Void Spirit, like this can go back and forth. So this isn't even a good Void Spirit game as well, and this hero is not very strong right now, so I have some concerns on how Zone's going to be able to play this game.
Yeah, maybe he's just going to go again for comfort and back himself to be able to say, right, I just need to understand where the enemy heroes could be playing inside of the tree line so that I'm not getting caught out by that instant telekinesis or the Sinister Gaze, because it is still relatively short range, Sinister Gaze, and then Puck, most of the time, you're going to have a rough idea of where she's looking to play. So maybe, again, just going for the comfort route, because if you are able to get onto those backlines, Rubik, Lich, even the Puck to a lesser extent, once you get the Aghanim Scepter, are heroes that can be... You can deal a ton of damage to them and really enable the Morphling quite heavily if you can get the jump.
And well, speaking about the Morphling, I wonder if he's going to have some difficulties through the first couple of minutes. Helios had a really nice play where he instantly popped the Salve onto Ray. So the Tiny's not playing with a whole lot of early health to kind of eat that damage to protect the Morphling. I do think once Morphling is able to find his levels, though, this should be a pretty fine lane to play in. Maybe nighttime, there could be kill threat with a Fade Bolt from the tree line and potentially Shield Crash or Swashbuckle to catch him off guard if he is playing low health. But I do think this should be a pretty decent lane for the Morph.
Now, can the Tiny have another MVP performance? Yeah. That's the real question I have for you. I know they were talking it down. Actually, Miranda doesn't have the leap skilled up.
Uh-oh. Kind of gets body blocked as well from NJ. We'll try and get as much damage out as possible before LBZS are able to find first blood. And, I mean, if they get another bash, they might look for NJ as well. But just happy with what they've gotten with an early kill onto the Mirana. I believe that was Fonte that was able... No, it actually was a Gua that gets all the bounty for that. So we'll see what the Lich wants to bring out to help this lane.
It was indeed. It was DQQ that went down. Another one of these players that always loves to change their name. He previously went by Drink, and well, he's going to have to go back to the fountain after dying that first time.
Also, refill the bottles so Zone can get a little bit of sip on that one. Oh, let's go. Got to play around with the old name. I understand. Now it's flowing through the river. I mean, I get it. DQQ. It's all the liquid going on.
It's coming on. Liquid gold. That's what that was.
He has to kind of treat the mount kind of kindly, right? You got to give it a little, have the resources going for her as well.
For sure.
He's very in some trouble. No Shield Crash, which is a lot of their damage. Fate Bolt is up and available though, and looks like with that in combination with the Swashbuckle, it's enough to secure their second kill of the game here for LBZS, and importantly, it's going to be onto TZY. We saw last game, he had a decent Mars performance. It wasn't anything crazy, but it wasn't enough to get them over the edge.
I mean, the lane went much better than I was expecting it to. Sure, you gave up the first blood, but it wasn't onto the Mars. It was onto the Rubik at that stage. But I feel like during the game, the impact wasn't quite as much. I saw a bunch of missed spears. I saw a few missed opportunities for great arenas as well. It was, not the greatest time to be able to start things off, but was I'm feeling much more confident about his Pangolier this time around. It's just a hero that has a lot more mobility. You're going to be able to provide some harassment for the backlines, and outside of that Morphling and to a lesser extent the Marcy, once she gets the BKB for herself, you're not going to be able to deal with a Pango inside of the Rolling Thunder, right? And you know that Morphling loves to farm in these super early stages. So you're going to have this period of about 10 or so minutes where every single team fight that a Pango joins is going to be heavily LBZS favored.
Do we feel like then Team Mystique always have to keep track of this Rolling Thunder cooldown and look to make plays when you don't have that out for TZY?
I think so. Or they might even try and address this with, maybe the Void Spirit makes his first rotation up towards this top side. It's not like they're lacking in lockdown, as we can see here with Ray. Once again, putting a lot more harassment in onto both of them.
Maybe Helios that actually goes down, so doesn't utilize the telekinesis just yet and won't require to help him get some distance away, but it is a lot of damage nonetheless onto the Rubik, so looks like it's going to be a trip back to the well here for Helios, which will give TZY some time to get some solo experience, but knowing that the Rubik's not here to protect him, they might just look to try and run at the Pango and get as much damage out as possible.
I mean, that's partially what this Observer Ward is to do, right? Where is the Rubik? Can we make these plays? How isolated is one hero from the rest of the team? So I like the fact that they've put this down. I don't believe it was scouted out by the Observer Ward that Helios had put right before he went back to base.
Is he going to refill the bottle mid lane as well, or even TP mid just to try and help out? Because we do have those power runes spawning very shortly. Ray using his entire combo top means that this Tiny will not be here to help contest this, and this is important because, I mean, Zone's got level 6, Dolphin's trying to get this creep to find his 6 to maybe help out with the fight.
He's not even going to be able to protect the rune. Nah, it's bot anyway.
Okay.
Alright, well, it denies it away from the Void Spirit, which of course, he really does need that power rune to be able to make not only the rotations, but just a little bit more reliant on mana compared to the puck, I would say. Like, you're not quite as easy to be able to shove out lanes, and so any kind of movement that you make needs to be twice as fast in order for it to be not scouted out.
See what they can get out of this. How close is Fonte to the ulti? Very close, actually. A couple more creeps and he'll have it up. This range creep definitely, well, it's opposite side of the map though. That TZY will go down finally. Team Mystique, they've multiple attempts to try and kill off the Pango, but this time they'll be able to crack him.
Yeah, I was thinking like, well, if they've been able to do that, but at the cost of him having to expend a little bit more resources on regen, it's going to be fine. But even though he died, he is still keeping up very nicely in terms of the net worth, topping the Radiance net worth charts at the moment. They're actually going to look to get rid of this Observer Ward as well. At least in the meantime, Rubik's going to go down. Having another good start to the game.
No, that is top of the net worth. 2 very early kills for the Morphling. I really wonder when we're going to see these position 2s unlocked in a game like this. Where are those first rotations going to be out of both the Puck and the Void Spirit? So at the moment, it's going to be the support. So once again, look to play around mid. Dolphin will get a nice little refill. We do have that second power rune up in the next 20 seconds. So maybe this is how the mid laners can be unlocked.
And every single time, the supports aren't taking any chances. If there's an unexpected kill that happens, or if there's a support that moves to the lane, they're like, there's a ward here. He wouldn't make this rotation just for the potential of being able to get a kill. There's always going to be something else off the back of it. Rune's going to be top. Looks like Puck's going to be able to pick it up as well. So will this lead into anything? I'm just not quite sure you've got the damage on the top side to be able to take out the Morphling. Even though he is sitting at half HP, he's got those raindrops available.
Well, honestly, bottom lane actually. First ultimate use of the game here from NJ. Gets an easy kill onto the Lich, so... I mean, every Unleash usage is pretty much a guaranteed kill. I don't...
That was even guaranteed level 2.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, of course, this is something we saw in the at the TI stage where a lot of teams are going for this Lich to kind of address the Marcy. So, we'll see how that's going to help kind of prevent NJ from having a good game as this one continues on. But overall, with his start, he's having a pretty solid time, and it's going to be that first item BKB out of the Marcy offlaner.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? Like anything that you can do to just commit fully. You don't want to have to care about the Pango. You don't want to have to care about the Puck. Basically, the only one you're worried about at that stage is the Faceless Void. So completely understandable as to why NJ would look to go for it.
See Dire kind of grouping up together though inside the jungle. This arrow be off the mark, but it's not going to matter. Zone will look to clean up the mess. An easy kill, but that is probably going to scout out the ward. And yep, instantly Lich pings the high ground. Not really sure if that kill is worth it if they lose that ward.
No, they were probably hoping to be able to find something else. So I'm a little surprised that they actually did commit in for it. Zone, did he pick up the... He bottled the bounty rune as well, at least. So it does mean that movement isn't as wasted.
Coils out. Fonte, he's going to be able to get the kill as well. Okay, beautifully done. There's that first rotation coming out from I guess, well, we just saw the Void Spirit going to the jungle, but really the big first rotation with Dolphin getting a kill onto a core. And the important thing is, as well, is that Fonte, he wasn't forced to use the Chronosphere as well. So if the Marcy looks to rejoin bottom, they will have that bubble to work with.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were looking to go for that. Like, is Dolphin going to stick down bottom? They still have a good amount of damage going into the Chronosphere with the Lich there as well. But, yeah, the mid tower was being pushed in far too much by Void Spirit and Mirana that you just had to make the movement back on Dolphin to be able to contest that.
We're going to see Team Mystique. They didn't want to try and defend that T1 tower top. They're looking to get aggressive across the map. Smokers 2 connecting to NJ. They've got a catapult down bottom as well. So if they get a kill, they can definitely chain this into a lot of damage onto the tower. It's just a question of how clean can they be with this initial jump. And they're so close to the objective where the LBZS members can look to potentially TP in to protect him. The chain control needs to be perfect, and it looks like it will be. Beautifully done as NJ jumps in to provide that extra damage they needed thanks to the Unleash. And now they know that Helios won't he TP'd in to try and protect the Faceless Void, and well, he's just going to be a freebie now. Team Mystique will find another easy kill for them to find, and well, they're going to give it over to Zone as well. So for the Void Spirit, he'll reap some of the rewards, and that's really important. This is a hero who does have a lot of difficulties with getting farm across the map. A lot of your net worth and experience comes off the back of these kills.
And they use the sidekick with the siege creep as well to be able to take out this tower. So you couldn't have asked for a better rotation to come through from Team Mystique there. I really feel like Gogo couldn't have done anything better though. He was really quick on the reactions of the Frost Shield. He even got the Sinister Gaze onto the highest damage hero that had made the rotation, but it just wasn't enough. No Time Walk able to get off, no Chronosphere, and that meant the Rubik, like we just saw, went down as well.
I guess with all that going on across the map though, we do see that TZY, it's already a Diffusal Blade completed for the Pangolier, so he's incredibly farmed after finishing off that first tower of the game, and the Witchblade was also already completed from Dolphin as well. So Radiant, they've got a lot of early items here to potentially maybe take a team fight and also then consider about getting their own objective.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it still feels the sort of case where you need... Are you going to consider using Chrono up here? Yeah, I think Faceless Void just wants any sort of kill for himself and doesn't seem like Void Spirit's going to be able to stop that even with the rotation up. They will have a look that he's made that rotation though, so could they look to now make a play around this mid lane?
Well, see if not having the Chronosphere might hurt them if the Void wanted to connect to this fight. It's just the Mirana standing nearby at the moment. Dire are going to be a little bit too late to funnel into the neighborhood to keep the Mirana alive, but they're looking for the turnaround. They won't be fast enough though as the Morphling gets silenced instantly as he jumps in. And now TZY is controlling NJ as well, but they've got to be cautious. So Zone off to the left side, playing under the cover of the Invis, but they did have a sentry nearby, so they're well aware of his positioning. They're going to turn over the Rubik, and that's where NJ's damage is able to come into play. He'll go now towards the Lich, but the damage, it's just not there. TZY, this early Diffusal Blade is just picking them apart.
It is, and, you know, a great Rolling Thunder as well. Man, the balls on Helios as well. He was standing right next to the Void Spirit as he was ready to make the jump onto him. And until Pango was there to be able to connect on the stun with the roll, he didn't use the telekinesis, just feeling like his team was going to be there to be able to back him up. And, well, it clearly worked out really nicely for them. Now top of the net worth on the TZY's Pango.
Which is so scary. Dude, we were just saying he completed this Diffusal. He's about to have a mechanism. 400 gold away is TZY, and that's a huge item now for some of your team fights sustain.
Big props do need to be given to Dolphin, though, with that quick usage of the Waning Rift, punishing the full Agimorph that had gone into.
Yeah, it looks like
Able to
another
catch him out
movement
as
from...
well.
I
Yeah,
don't
he
think
saw him
so,
under the sentry
Fonte.
ward.
It's kind of multiple sentries now that have been able to scout up this Void Spirit, trying to get himself in a position where he can capitalize on a member being caught off guard.
I mean, you're playing against a Marana, right? You know that this sort of rotation is going to happen, so it's it just shows good game awareness that they're not playing a cookie cutter style that they've done time and time again, you know?
What are they trying to set up here bottom lane? Well, Zone's got the Yule Scepter already, and they're going to have enough burst between the two. It's a phase shift, not really going to protect you against the Remnant. As soon as you pop out from the Aether, we'll get that instant stun that are required to bring him down. And, well, beautifully done, Zone, kind of catching the puck off guard with this Yule Scepter. And that is really the big item. That is the way you're able to address the puck.
Helios even able to steal the Sacred Arrow. Not going to be too effective, though, as actually ends up giving themselves dewarded. All of that vision going the other way. So the thing I'm kind of tossing up in my head is, like, who is happiest with this sort of situation, right? Because you've taken one tower on LBZS's side. You probably want to take more. You want to be able to invade against this against this Morphling before it reaches the stage where he's a little bit too tanky, where, you know, the Chronosphere plus the puck damage plus a Chain Frost isn't going to be enough to kill him anymore.
Yeah, I do feel like Morphling late game is going to be a concern. Like, I think you're a great way to address the Void now with the kind of all your new scepters, your Shard, and of course the Aghanim's feels like a great way to mitigate his kind of the Void's late game damage and even Chrono threat to kill the Morphling. So
could be another.
We'll see. He's getting a lot of farm.
What we saw from game one, right? Like we saw that for LBZS to have any kind of success in the team fights, they needed to be the ones to be initiating, and as soon as that didn't happen, then suddenly things turned very, very quickly against them. Same sort of thing applies against a Morphling.
At least this game, they do have multiple members to actually start fights. It's just not reliant on the TZY Mars that they, of course, drafted in game one. Mm-hmm. Like now you've got the Pango, the Puck. I mean, depends on the Rubik as well, his item build or potentially what abilities he's stolen he can start, but it'll be Dire that look to make the attempt mid lane. Oh, the toss isn't there to fault with the arrow. Now, TZY should be okay. Roll will get him some distance away, but he's still going to be cautious with how he plays around the cliffs. In more bottom lane zone, he's set up onto the park with Ray nearby. The chain control needs to be perfect, but Ray is just a little bit too late to find that toss at the last second, so Dolphin will just narrowly escape that attempt.
Probably shouldn't have even
I
been
like
in a
this.
Yeah.
He's going A on this next item. I really like this from the park. It's an early item pickup, but I'll actually hold that thought. NJ and a combination of the rest of the supports from Mystique, they'll get a kill, but I think for Dolphin, you're just incredibly concerned about getting chain controlled and blown up from full to zero, and that's where the Aeon this comes into play.
Yes, my concern though is where's the damage going to come from? Like, is it going to rely on Rubik getting the greatest spell steals of all time? You know, can he get the Avalanche? Can he get the Resonant Pulse? Can he get Starstorm to a lesser extent, right? Try and make a play onto this mid lane.
They've got TZY nearby, but still without the ultimate to play with. The control might be the thing in question. Is Helios going to be enough with the 8th Remnant, and Zone will sidestep that? But they still want to stick around on LBZS. Rolling Thunder up in 5 seconds. Fonte is well considering about showing up to the fight. He's got the Chronosphere already, but just needs to find an opening to use it, but they might not even need it as Dolphin finds a silence over to the tree line, and that will net them the kill onto Ray without committing too heavily for it.
Mm-hmm. And Void just immediately heads straight back down towards the bottom side. I think it's a little bit too much to bank on the Faceless Void to do all of the damage, right? Like Pango, yes, he got that super early Diffusal Blade, which led them to win that previous team fight, but after that he's going for the Greaves. Great for sustaining yourself,
Void.
Same sort of thing with the Aeon.
Zone's been caught out. The Yule Scepter's not going to be enough this time. It'll be used against him with that Remnant stolen. Oh no.
Well, that's a good steal. Yeah, that gives them that little bit of extra damage that we've been wanting, right? Not just him, but the Morphling as well.
They might catch NJ. Alchemist is still on cooldown though, that's a big issue. NJ gets a beautiful double stun, and they're protected with the BKB. He can look for more members as well. Look at the unleashed damage go to work, but they themselves group up, so Fonte could just easily step in, land in the Chrono onto 2, and Dolphin will quickly dispatch of the Team Mystique members. They might actually not. Ray's gonna be okay even with the dust there. It was Scurry on out, but it was a nice back and forth from either side. An attempt from NJ to turn it around wasn't enough with Fonte's positioning.
I was thinking maybe it was a little late on the Chronosphere, could have protected the Pangolier, but clearly not. If Fonte is able to deal the most damage coming through there, wanted to wait out the BKB as well, just so that you're able to do a little bit of that extra damage coming from the Maelstrom on the Faceless Void.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's big though he gets involved because you're kind of questioning like if this Void is going to have the damage, and getting maximum usage out of the Chronos and being rewarded with gold and experience is going to mean that there might not be that window of time where the Void is under-damaged. As Puck's caught out inside the jungle.
Oh, that's a interesting place to be. I mean, I guess he's playing around a bunch of vision, you know, both covering points where you're entering into that ancient area from the high ground as well as in the lane on the mid lane. But yeah, still probably a kill that you shouldn't be giving over, especially if it's onto Ray. I mean, we've seen what he's able to do with just a little bit of farm. This game, it's a little bit different. Hasn't snowballed completely, so still doesn't have his Blink Dagger at the 20-minute mark. We're used to seeing him be 6 slotted at this stage.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
What do you have? He had a Scepter already, right?
It was like 24 minutes, if you was. Link Scepter.
Radiant's
NJ.
That's a deep
Off the
dive.
mark with his jump. He's using a lot just for the kill on the root, because it's really worth using all your abilities to bring down the support. As TZY is going to be off the mark with his own counter initiation, so in the end, not the worst for Dire. They're still going to be cautious though, because LBZS is starting to funnel into their neighborhood, but they might turn onto Dolphin. The first stun is
great Chain Frost.
Oh no, not like this, but the Chain Frost, it'll end on zone, not getting as much damage as they're required to win the team fight. But they're actually looking to still buy back and take it, as Fonte's even going to show up as well.
Oh, it's a big
no
time
Chronos
dilation.
feed to help out in the team fight, as Ray's going to look to reveal the blink as well with a combo onto 2. The damage is there to get the kill onto TZY, but Fonte will easily repair the combo from Tiny, so they won't be able to get the Void, but in the end, not the worst. Dire, they come out on top.
I love me some Lich, but that is the sort of ultimate that you see in my games. You know, perfect. Everyone's caught in the Dream Coil, and then it just goes off to the one unit that runs away. A little bit of luck, a little bit of great communication coming through from Mystique, making sure that they weren't instantly blown up by that fantastic combination. Look at
That could have been picture perfect stuff, right?
the one
what could have
person
been?
that's off to the side. God. Sometimes luck's just on your side.
And it is, and well, for Dire, that's a huge fight going in your favor. Minimal gold lead, but it just gives more time for this Morphling to get towards the Scepter, and we spoke about how good of an item this is to be able to address the Faceless Void, who's been caught out. Dolphin will run into Ray with TZY nearby, so LBZS able to bury the Tiny. Not the most important kill, but at least you're finding something.
Oh, I love it,
Love
Ray.
that.
Going into the E-Blade second item. He wants to be able to pick people off solo. I mean, he had the Blink Dagger in that fight. That's how he was able to convert that last kill onto the Pangolier. And he actually ended up with a triple kill in that fight. Like, this man knows how to play the Tiny as a 5.
We'll see what Team Mystique can get out of this use of the Moonlight Shadow. It's going to be a wraparound where they're maybe thinking about even moving over towards Radiant Secret Shop, but
Dire's
won't have enough time left for the Moonlight Shadow to be able to capitalize on that. They might run into Dolphin though.
He's got the Aeon Disc just freshly picked up, though, so he is comfortable enough to put himself in harm's way. Might even try and bait things out a little bit, maybe throw out the orb from the tree line, see if they can get a Tiny to initiate it onto him when he's actually surviving. I think they just pinged the fact that he has it.
Oh, he broke the legs. He's able to sidestep. Gotta be cautious though. Fonte's not gonna have any damage. Marcy popped the BKB before the Chrono, so this is not looking good for Radiant. Where's the Morphling to maybe turn the fight around? He hasn't shown up just yet, but now with the Scepter, here comes the Faceless Void. That's the member they needed to turn the team fight back around. Onto Fonte they go, bringing down the Faceless Void. They'll turn to Dolphin next. The Yours, can he get away with the orb? You bet he can, but Dara in hot pursuit. Remnant's going to be on the mark, sets up perfectly for the arrow. That's what we were waiting for the Morphling to show up with that Scepter reveal, and well, it pays off drastically.
Yeah, great time dilation coming out there. And it just means that the Faceless Void really can't do all that much, right? You want to be spamming out your own time dilation. You're using the Time Walk. He'd used the Chronosphere, so he was completely locked in place. Absolutely nothing that he could do about it with the BKB already being expended. Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good use of the Chrono onto the Marcy with the BKB already used, so that he didn't really have any kind of defensive tools, but it's a similar sort of issue with what do you actually do for a lot of this damage? Will they get the kill onto zone here?
Oh, it's to simulate. Oh, he won't actually get it off. The control from Helios, once again, a little bit too long, thanks to the maxed out Arcane Supremacy, so wasn't expecting them to bring him down, but it's a nice kill they're able to find nonetheless.
But that fight kind of highlighted the lack of damage that I feel LBZS have, right? Like you weren't able to quickly take out the Marcy and then move on to another target, right? It was Marcy took the full Chronosphere plus a few seconds after the fact, and by that time they were able to make the full connection come through on Mystique. It's not like they're lacking in aura items either. They've got a mech, they've got a pipe on the Mirana, they've got, you know, sidekick to be able to regen back up. So it's a lot that you're having to deal with.
They will at least get Roche for free though. They're going to look to try and smoke and make something of it. Chrono's still on cooldown for 30 seconds. The Dolphin's going to jump in. No hesitation with dropping the coil onto NJ. Ray still feels like they're strong enough to take the team fight, but Dire a little bit disconnected to follow up with his jump in, so they're going to bleed another kill.
Just a little slow on Ray there. I thought maybe he could have been in position to be able to save the Marcy, and well, that's a big bonus for LBZS because they got that kill without the Faceless Void. He was completely farming on the top side, didn't have TP for 30 seconds at the time. So he's going to continue to try and be that one to scale, to be able to take out these targets at the start of team fights.
I think one thing that might catch them off guard shortly, though, is the fact that zone is very, very close to this Scepter. Just needing about 450 gold until this one is completed, and that extra little bit of silence and even damage as well, the second charge of the Resonant Pulse, might be enough for them to actually come out on top when they're down the Aegis advantage.
Can I tell you, though, that I absolute this itemization choice on NJ. Going the Nullifier next. You're going up against the Ice Shield.
Easy white arrow. Oh, they had the cliff forward. They knew exactly where the Marcy was trying to spring the trap, and with that kill, they're going to be able to protect the tower very easily.
But yeah, I mean, just have a look at how many things that they're going to be able to. Actually, mid lane, never mind. No rest for the wicked.
No rest for the wicked indeed. He doesn't get the toss into the park, though, which might result in them not getting the kill. Well, looks like that's the case.
So I'm counting like 6 things that you're going to be able to get rid of with that Nullifier. Really high value ones as well. Like, if you're expending this much money on a mid laner for an Aeon disc, you better not have it instantly cancelled by your off laner's itemization.
And it feels like one of the best ways to mitigate Marcy's effectiveness is trying to kiting her inside the middle of the fights as well. You'll get that jump in, but you know, afterwards when the unleash is popped, if you're able to force staff away or kind of stun her down and use the defensive items, then all of a sudden NJ might not have the effectiveness that they need out of her. So unleash is also the Nullify is also going to really help out there.
Yeah, that prevents you from getting kited so heavily.
Run into the morphling of the triangle. Gonna be in some trouble. Bubble drop, Fonte. Easy use of the Chronosphere, of course. No shard yet picked up here for the morphling, maybe hoping he finds it with that second Roshan, but as a result of not having the Icon of Shard, he'll go down, and now NJ will as well. They're just bleeding kills across the map. Team Mystique, what's going on? A little bit of a blunder here from everyone.
Certainly not what I expected for them to just feed kill after kill back to back to back, and well, they're going to look to take advantage of it on LBZS. They don't have the Chronosphere, but I feel like you could still potentially look to push up into this high ground.
Might be looking for zone instead. Yeah, he gets that one right click.
Oh.
Hang on, is he going to go for this? Let's see if he's going to have the damage. With Helios being nearby, maybe they can turn it around. The coil's still the thing lacking, but they know that all the ultimate charges were used for the Void, so he's going to have some difficulty with escaping. We'll have enough time to get that dissimulate out, but with Fonte's position, we've got detection thanks to the dust, and in fact, it's TZY that will bring him down.
There you go, supports carry the dust. They would have just expended a fair amount to let him get away if Helios wasn't carrying that. And Rubik isn't exactly known as being one of those heroes that loves to be playing up in the front lines, right? So it just is a big credit to a lot of his positioning, and even just believing that you've gone this lineup, Void Spirit, Marcy, even to a lesser extent the Tiny that wants to jump onto you.
We do see there is a big kind of discrepancy between the cores farm in regards to Dire. Like Morphling far on top, but there are other cores in regards to the Marcy and the Void Spirit and not being able to find as much net worth. Do we feel like this is going to be a concern with how close a game we have and heading into the later stages?
Has fallen.
I feel like you've still got like a good amount of AoE damage, you know, a good amount of right click to be able to deal with a Faceless Void, who for me still is priority number one when you're going up against it. It's just a matter of maybe getting into a little bit of that extra burst damage. You know, you've almost got level 18 on the Void Spirit. He's got an Arcane Root to play around.
I'm setting up for this fight.
I mean,
Ages will tick out in 20. Is
it's a long time though.
and the Morphling's not here just yet as well. TP on cooldown. Dolphin's gonna look to maybe scout out some of the members and get rid of the ward as well. This might make it a little bit easier for LBZS to take a team fight around the triangle. See what the call is going to be though with the ages expiring. It's Dire that are actually in pursuit. Smoke up from them, looking to try and catch out LBZS.
And they're just going to back off entirely.
Puck's good for the team.
The top side. Yeah, but
Gonna be able to catch out Guo. The TP forced to be stopped here as soon as the Lich saw that some of the members were running directly at him. Well, but the Lich being the first kind of point of contact, it means that everyone else on LBZS will be okay. A Rolling Thunder used down bottom to try and clear the creeps and get out. Meanwhile, mid lane Morphling does pop the Aeon Disc, which actually might be enough for Zora to secure the kill. Yules sets up for the Aether Remnant. Void's going to come into play to provide the damage required to get the kill, so... Alright, beautifully done. 70 seconds without having to worry about the puck.
Damn, I was really expecting that was just looking to try and get rid of that that Aeon Disc, but a really nice rotation coming through from Zone as well to be able to confirm the kill. That Aeon Disc, sorry, not the Aeon Disc, the Yule Scepter, really coming in handy for him there. Brings him up to that all-important level 18. He's almost got his level 20 as well, and considering you've got the Aghanim Scepter, 120 Resonant Pulse damage, you can double that. We'll talk about the importance of being able to burst some of these heroes down, especially the Puck, when she doesn't have that that Aeon Disc. It's just going to make it so much easier.
Do you feel like that is still the priority in a lot of the fights here for the Void Spirit? Is it ever going to change?
I think you just don't want to be...
NJ? Oh, BKB used just solely for the Lich.
Yeah, I was about to say you don't want to be too antsy popping the BKB, but you might be able to... You feel like you can man fight this Void?
I don't think he can escape either, so it's just like, all right, I got to go for it. I'm going to maybe hope I can get lucky with a couple of bashes, but it doesn't matter. An unfair fire to some of the LBZS members jumps in to provide that assistance.
He's continuing to farm his content. I was talking about... I like the Faceless Void pick. I was worried that he might need to go it alone, but clearly, Pango, Puck, both keeping up.
They're
both
running
getting
at
a little
them.
more aggressive items.
Ray actually blinked defensively, so doesn't want to look to get the jump, and that's where TZY comes into play. A Chrono used solely onto the Void Spirit, but the E-Blade might be enough to keep him alive. They're forced to drop the core to hold him into place, but that was a lot used just for the Void Spirit kill. But the Morphling feels hesitant about continuing to chase deep towards the tier 2 tower, so it looks like Team Mystique gonna back up and just only lose one.
Will this be the indication for them to go, though? I mean, I'm sure they've got their eyes on the Roshan respawn timer. Just possibly 10 seconds away, so with no Chronosphere, gives them a big window once the Void Spirit's back online. Be able to potentially contest that. So right now the priority for LBZS is push out that bottom lane. Bottom tower is probably the easiest tower for Mystique to take at this stage, so let's make sure that doesn't happen in the meantime. It's about a half duration Roche respawn, so not the worst for both teams, to be honest.
Not the worst is important though for Team Mystique. They do already have a nice clear forward by that secret shot. Ready? They won't be underneath it though, so smoke from them is not going to be caught out. And they might run into the Morphling. Not an easy kill at all. Helios forced to start. They might be able to blow him up before he gets the attribute shift off. The damage isn't enough. Uh-oh. He pops the BKB. Now M's going to look to turn it around. There's just nothing they can do.
Oh, it's coming,
Maybe
though.
actually, hang on. Morphling is going to look to try and TP up. Forced to stop because the BKB wasn't there to cover the full TP duration. And a little bit awkward. I thought it was just going to turn it completely around, but it just didn't have enough left available.
I thought it was a lot awkward. You know, all the boys didn't feel like helping him out. A couple of them didn't have TPs available, but...
Fonte, they're going to run into TZY. Combo's able to set up perfectly for the damage. As meanwhile, Dolphin's able to back up as well. A great positioning out of the puck. Lands the coil onto two, so there's going to be no escape from the support. So will there? Fonte, a little bit off the mark with his own time walk as Miranda looks for a TP, an ambitious one at best. As Fonte will find that bashed to slam the door home.
Just 15 seconds until the Roche pit. These are not the kills that you want to be giving up at such a crucial juncture. Might even be able to find the Marcy, but just able to get away as NJ. About to hit up
Really
5 as well on this Faceless Void too.
Do we feel like this is a little bit greedy that Morphling is still waiting on the Aghanim Shard for this next Roche?
A little bit, yeah. I feel like you need to...
Okay.
I feel like you need to play a bit more around. Oh, the first
flash again!
Oh.
No way! Oh my god.
Sometimes it's just your day, man.
Okay, you could argue out buying back your defend Roche. You need a way to scout it out, but with Chrono on cooldown, you might be able to take this fight.
Yes, and you know how important it is for the Morphling to get that shard that we've been talking about for so long, but actually Morphling, he's TP and bottom. Either they're not aware of this or they're just not interested. So who are we giving this one to? Oh, Rubik still has an up shard. All right.
Okay.
I'm giving it to Lich, to be honest.
What do you like about the Lich Shard this game?
It just means that even if you're catching someone solo inside of the Chronosphere, you can still use the Chain Frost for that little bit of extra damage that I feel like they were lacking.
And that E-Blade won't really protect them as well. Like, that's a big reason why we saw Ray go for this E-Blade. He does have a Wind Waker queued up. That's kind of a pipe dream at the moment. Maybe that Philosopher's Stone can help out, but... See, this has to be a pick-shot perfect fight, and maybe the Nullifier can help out a little bit for Dire, but... Radiant, they're going to play the kind of disciplined game, not running up into Dire's triangle where they don't have any vision placed.
Jay really wanted that level 20 as well. He's just keeping the bottom lane pushed out. It's that 35-minute creep wave with the cart, which means that someone's going to need to address this, and I feel like maybe they're either going to pick off the first person that makes the rotation down, or as soon as it happens, they're going to look to rotate to the opposite side of the map. He's actually in here first.
Instant use of the BKB.
Yeah. Are they going to look to chase?
Inside the jungle, they're actually onto the puck. Dolphin might be in a little bit of trouble as NJ tries to jump in. Is the control going to be there after the phase shift? And it's not. So puck will get out, and now TZY looks to roll into the middle. Onto Marcy they go. Still not enough damage, but maybe the Chain Frost bouncing back and forth. That'll secure the initial kill for LBZS. They have detection though. Ray caught out for the moment, but the Moonlight Shadow is soon to expire. They're going to be back on towards the puck and zone. Does he have to damage Resonant Pulse in a couple of seconds? They'll need the control. But Dolphin gets out once again, just away from the grasping jaws of Team Mystique.
That was the longest Blink Dagger I think I've seen in quite a while. I know he's holding the Octarine core, but damn, man is very, very slippery. Rubik did end up going down on the sidelines. It was just Morphling 1v2ing essentially against the Faceless Void. A little bit of a misuse of the telekinesis, but still breaking even across both cores there. Look at
this is great.
The Moonshot as well.
Is this the Void? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. We saw at TI, of course, there were a couple of answers to the Morphling step. Arme really liked the Moonshot, and then, of course, we saw Fonte go for the Lincolns early on to kind of help out with that. Do want to mention another item. Morphling actually did go into the Aghanim Shard.
Okay. I mean, if you're not taking the Roche, then you kind of have to.
Yeah. It is
25 himself.
Much needed item as Ray should go down bottom. Full usage out of the Rolling Thunder, dude. It's so annoying to play versus Pango. He's got that 15 talent for the extra duration, just bouncing back and forth. So, no Tiny for 60 seconds. They are a little bit split, though, on LBZS. Cautious as zone.
No one is nearby.
Aeontisk is still on cooldown for the moment. Oh, no, they group up for the corner, but that's where the Aghanim Shard's able to come into play. So Fonte needs a turn for the Void Spirit, but he doesn't have the damage nor the control, but that's where the puck can come into play. A coil used at the last second to hold the Void Spirit into place. They're already looking for more. Rubik gets the stun, the telekinesis drag back with the Morphling protected down to the south though. NJ, he's onto TZY. A bash inside the Rolling Thunder. They got the damage to secure the kill, but up to the
Helios.
north. The Morphling, he's still in trouble. Manta into the waveform. That'll get him out of harm's way. Looks like Team Mystique. Are they on full retreat or do they want to go back in? Unleash, it's on cooldown for NJ, so he doesn't have the damage to get the kill onto the supports as Dire just stuck around for a little bit too long. All abilities aren't in the arsenal to turn this fight back around as LBZS will come out on top. And what a great position to have a successful team fight, because now they can look to get some objectives.
They can indeed. They've still got a good minute on that Aegis as well. So Fonte, he's going to be the only one putting himself anywhere close to the front of this this high ground siege. And you just see all of the resources sitting up behind him, ready for the Frost Shield, ready for the telekinesis, and Puck with all that control as well.
An early glyph, telekinesis, almost into the remnant. I'd have to eat. Oh, Ray just runs up forward to enable the Puck to have an opening. Might be enough damage coming out though. Fonte protected for the moment, but M's just getting controlled. Like you said, yeah, he's still got Aegis, another 30 seconds, so he's not too worried. But I guess the important thing is maybe that's a worthwhile sacrifice for the Tiny. The boys are about to respawn.
Okay. Tiny goes down, defend your high ground. Yeah, it's on about 2 hits, but he's still generally satisfied with that. Got here an arcane room for Fonte. Won't be able to use the Chronosphere in combination with that, but he realizes that he is the carry. He's going into the Refresher Orb, realizing that, you know, going up against the Morphling, so maybe now he's changed. They try and pick off the Void Spirit as the main target, as opposed to the Morphling.
Maybe some of those neutral items can help out and actually protecting the Morphling. Giving over the Trickster's Cloak, so extra magic resistance and evasion, which is going to be lovely. Maybe just some farm time for both sides to get those tier 4 neutral items. With a breath for either side.
Haven't really seen NJ find that perfect jump onto the backlines yet, have we? You know, the Nullifier, it was picked up at a really nice time, and I still think it's a great game for it, but we haven't seen the cancellation of these Ghost Scepters. We haven't seen the Frost Shield taken off in these team fights.
Alright. Morphling just brought out for the Octarine. Let's see if they're going to be able to blow him up. The Attribute Shift, of course, is there, but the damage is just too much. Morphling gone without a buyback. NJ quickly dispatches of the Lich, and up to the northern side as well. Their attention is onto the Pangolier, but it means that they can't protect NJ. As the Marcy attempting to do God's work, targeting down the Rubik, but he just doesn't have the damage. Radiant control the Marcy, who buys back instantly. They will at least get down on one of their members with a TP, but off to the other side, Zone was also able to get rid of TZY, so let's jump on the deck. No one's able to pick that up for the moment. Do they actually want to fight Team Mystique? They've got a great ward on their cliff, but looks like Radiant will back out.
Who's going to get first vision of this DD bottom? You're going to get greedy and give it over to the Void. Find out this Puck, because, yep, Aeon Disc is available though.
Yeah, let's see if that's going to be enough to keep him alive. Arrow, no, that's the Chrono. On to 3 from Fonte. Everything you would need to take the team fight. And now they'll turn to the Void Spirit as well. But Ray tosses him away. Maybe that's enough to buy Zone some time to get the Astral Step out. Can they chase him down? It's going to be up to the Puck to close the distance. But Zone out to the left side. Dolphins in hot pursuit with a coil landing. The control, the damage will be there afterwards to secure the 4th kill. And that was all set up thanks to Fonte's Chrono.
I was wondering if he was going to go for the flicker play, try and move forward just that little bit more to be able to get away from the Puck, but didn't end up doing it. Gets caught with a Dream Coil. Does have buyback at least, but you really don't feel like you can mount any defense without the Morphling.
Might not have Mirana as well. QQ's okay. He's able to purge off the silence and leap away, and the buildings won't be able to have the same fate though. Melee Barracks goes down. Range will still be left standing. I got to talk about it with them respawning. I hope we have time. What's with the Octarine on the Morphling?
Wanting to morph more? They did nerf it a little bit in the recent patch, so it's not like that 100% uptime.
I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. Let's see how it's going to be able to help out. It's definitely not they're not in a position where they're completely out of it, but it's getting close to that stage. 15,000 gold lead. And there might soon to be more as well as LBZS moving over to Dive's triangle. First point of contact is going to be the Tiny. And it's an early use of the BKB from Fonte. And unfortunately for the Tiny, the Ghost Scepter's not able to keep him alive. NJ does get a quick and easy pick off onto the Lich, but he's not able to catch up to TZY. And just put protective of them, but look how hesitant Dire are though. No one else is following up onto NJ. They just don't want to commit into the middle. They're just watching their member get blown up in their faces.
Are under attack.
There's just nothing really that they can do at that stage, right? Like you've used your BKB already. A big portion of your damage in the Marcy is gone. Your teamfight control has been removed as well. What's Zone going to look to get into? I mean, it doesn't stun anymore at level 25. It's just a root, so it's still going to be decent against all three cores, to be honest, but it isn't that big backline disruptor that it used to be.
Dolphin's already hunting for more. Does he go for the blind coil? Not gonna be the case. They might run into zone though.
They know.
They've got the outpost for the boys to start to TP2. Zone beautifully done. Is able to dodge the coil.
That should help.
Josh is able to get away. And I mean, that's valuable time though. So a
Got
little
his
bit of
little
breathing
25.
room. Who's this?
Void Spirit. And now Morphling has a Lincoln, so that's going to benefit from the Octarine core. He actually sold his boots so that he could look to do that. And I suppose with Waveform having 40% cooldown reduction is going to keep him somewhat maneuverable.
Sweet, huh? Alright. Roche is up and it's the third one of the game.
Oh, DQQ ends up arrowing a creep. So
Helios
full vision.
is just going to look to try and waste some time. Even Guagu actually jumps up to the high ground. Lich, no messing around with his initiation. But Dire have now brought all the boys to the team fight. Mirana's going to be easily brought down, but simultaneously the Lich is killed off as well, but NJ won't get anything more out of it as Fonte flies over into the river. Can they still take the team fight on Team Mystique, but the numbers disadvantage, and it looks like that's not going to be the case as Fonte, well, they'll have the E-Plate to protect the Void Spirit for a little bit, but purged off thanks to the Witchbane. And now Morphling, I mean, he's looking to try and clean up, but I don't think he can do this by himself, and he's barely tickling Fonte. Will just narrowly dodge the Chronosphere, but it doesn't matter. 4 members are down without a buyback. It's Morphling against the world, but oh no, he didn't even make it to the high ground. We'll still get that time walk away, but it's not going to matter. The creeps are inside the base, and they're just going to look to end it.
No buyback on any hero on Mystique right now. Closest one is the Mirana, still 160 gold away. They might be able to find this pickoff as well onto that. That's GG. He doesn't have buyback. Tier 4s are getting hit. They can just look to commit onto this one. So very, very different story from game number 1. It kind of felt like Mystique were a little bit lost at sea this time around. And, well, I wonder if it means that the way for them to draft moving forward, I don't want to like dumb it down too much, but it was a very, very clear game plan for them in game number 1. Pick these heroes that dive in, that are able to punish the Lina, and then build sustainable so that we don't die.